Diyos. Maraming salamat po sa buhay at lakas na aming taglay, sa liwanag ng kaisipan at sa pagkakataong maipagpatuloy ang pag-aaral ng mga kabataan. Gabayan mo po ang bawat isa sa amin. Anuman ang bahagi na aming gagampanan, naway maging maayos at matagumpay ang pagtuturo at pag-aaral na aming gagawin sa araw na ito. Patawarin mo po kami sa aming mga pagkulang at pagkakasala. At sa aming paggawa, ikaw po ang aming makasama. Amen.
You already made last week when you want to go out of the house. A little more patience, dear students, because the virus is still around. Your safety is our concern. Do you agree? Let me see some thumbs up if you are with me. All right, are you ready for your episode of public speaking? As you can remember, we have six from our list type of according to delivery, which is, can you help me recall? You may comment down below. I would see it here live. Anyone? I would appreciate a comment or answer to my question. Oh, I'm seeing responses. Great memory. If manuscripts. This time around, the second one, and we will be guided by the following most essential learning competencies. These are distinguishes types of speech according to the theory, which is a memorized and use principles of effective speech in different situations. We are now going to discuss about organizing rise. You can still recall what's the first speech you have memorized. Let us travel in. I bet when you were kids, you were still able to memorize nursery rhymes, right? Like Bahay Kubo, Leron Leron, or Cocomelon. Have you memorized that? Or songs that we often hear being played on the background. How about in school? What was the first speech you recall up to this? As for me, I can still recall the first poem we memorized when I was still in grade two, a literary piece of our country. In high school, I can still recite the preamble of. Are you familiar with that? A monologue and a couple of poems. So much for my time travel. How about you? I know memorizing is so easy. What about you? But as we go along with our session for this morning, I will provide you some tips how you guys in your preparation for memorized speech. Ready? Let us start. Our previous meeting, these are the highlights of the description. A memorized is a advanced preparation. Why? Because it's a planned and versus. Of course, you cannot memorize over time. It is a memorized which is reciting a written word for word from memory. So when do we usually encounter memorized? So number one would be perform in a stage play. Of course, you do not see actors and actresses perform with their script hands, right? So therefore, it is memorized. Second one is when you deliver a declamation or rhetorical or literary piece. What I shared with you a while ago about reciting literary piece, right? And when an actor or actress performs a script from. So what are the advantages? Advantages. Later, I will elaborate. So for the advantage, it is the exact repetition. If you have a memorized, you are free to move around the stage because you have nothing on your hands to hold. For the disadvantage, speakers might end up speaking better. Alternatively, they might take us. When the speaker cannot control their stage fright, they might have difficulty remembering their memorized. That is what we want, having and to. So here are the tips. The never-ending rehearse. Rehearse speech over and over again until you sound natural and feel confident. Observe how actresses perform their script in a theater, television, or movie scenes. Once again, we learn best by example and experience. When should you memorize? Although keeping a speech in mind that only on very rare occasions, memorizing a speech can help you achieve a effortless memory. Do not need to focus on notes or a manuscript. You can concentrate on eye contact with your audience, establishing rapport and interacting with your audience. Memorizing can be very tough and mechanical, especially short speeches for special occasions. So what are those special occasions? It works best for the introduction of a guest, acceptance of award or recognition, a toast, a eulogy, good and light. So here are the other disadvantages of the memorized system. Number one is might forget what you are supposed to say because long pauses, very awkward moments between you and your audience. You have to avoid 3 second pause because it what tension among your crowd. That's why you should always maintain that eye contact with the audience. Second disadvantage, you might memorize a speech mechanically. This can result in a very unnatural delivery. You might sound like a robot or your tone might become monotonous. That's why you have to highlight certain points from what emphasis, know how to give very deep rate of that you would not sound. Third disadvantage, you might focus on content, consequently groping for the right words outside and that's why you have to act like and make your speech hard to be as rehearsed very. Fourth disadvantage, too tied to relationship. If you know pay attention to audience. How about the advantages, guys? For one, you do not need notes anymore since you have memorized. Each is memorized. You do not have to worry about when to answer your because all throughout the speech it is expected that you are looking at your audience. Second advantage, you can hand gestures, facial expression, and know the speech by heart. It will be easier on nonverbal communication. As you recall, nonverbal communication is very important because it is an extension of our message from our speech. Third advantage, you can concentrate on visual aid helps. Nice, help you focus helps if you have any. For the fourth advantage, sorry, you will feel more confident if you have memorized your. You know that you have committed speech to memory. You will not be anxious about running out of words or not because it is already prepared. So here are the tips in memorizing. How should you memorize? Okay, so for number one, break it down. Do not memorize a speech in one sitting or overnight days, days of preparation. Your speech has 4 paragraphs. You should focus on one paragraph at a time. Once you have memorized the first paragraph, focus on the next to yourself because you have provided a timeline for you. Be familiar with yourself. Again, break it down. So you have to memorize the first paragraph first, the second one, and so. For the second tip, You have to build it up. After breaking it down, build it up. After memorizing the story by parts, you need to put them together. Recite the first paragraph and move on to the second. Just recite the first and second paragraphs, and the next thing you know, you have completed your third tip would be pick out. Not memorize the speech silently. Recite over and over while memorizing it. Your brain multitasks and aids attention. So you have to hear yourself while delivering the speech. Do not just by your eyes, but have to twice imagine that you're actually delivering in front of your audience. One way of having this experience of how you would deliver your speech in front of your audience. For number four, identify. So what about keys? It pertains to a key point in every paragraph. Even if you cut some of the actual, you can easily expound on the key. Remember, during our discussion about how to make an outline of the, you may use that. But as you have take note of points of your speech, serve as your guide on what you should say next. The fifth tip would have break. Have a kick, have a break. After memorizing some parts of your speech, take a break for an hour or a day. After this, recite the speech again. This will see how well you can recall what you think you have memorized. Or you may also ask an audience, right? Sixth tip would record and record yourself, delete, listen over it like a song, just will get stuck in your. Remember how you were able to memorize the songs that you love, your favorite. Of course, you have to you play it over and over again in your. That's one way of memorizing it. Seventh tip would use note cards. But when will I use this note card since it's not used speech delivery? This can be used when writing one key point on one note card. Bring these note cards wherever you go and take them out whenever, especially during idle time. If you have time, you bring try to memorize bit by bit. So those are the I hope those are helpful. So this time around, deliver a while ago I discussed how you should memorize tips on how you should time around, how should you deliver a memorized? Number one, name the. So I do not know how you would rate that, but of course you have to practice and remember that. Or you may have your timer. Number two, use hand gestures and know when to lay out your hand. Or you spread out, or when you third tip would good expressions. One of the nonverbal gestures of tone, projection of your voice, your rate, and its volume. When should your voice be louder? Softer. Fourth tip would memorize not just the speech but also the outline of that is very essential. So for you to get more acquainted with different speakers and who won, and who won this particular contest, you may look for Toastmasters International from YouTube, and you will different award winning. And of course, I know you are familiar with spoken poetry. Look on Juan Miguel Pero, Phil K, and Sarah K, and the likes. And I think they're very so much for that. So let's go to our question and answer. Are you ready? Here is our first question. What should I do if I forget my so what this but this is something yes, this is going to happen, right? But we should be prepared for that. That is why rehearse your speech over and over again is very so that you and your speech comes in the speech or that you have prepared. But if this happened, you may pause for a while, but don't pause for a very long time. Okay, so just one and two, don't panic. A couple inhale and exhale would help. Look at your audience, and you may do more. Make them laugh. Relieve the try to recall the outline and or you know what you may go back to the last line you have said. Recall the other lines. So I hope that helps. This is how do I calm my nerves before a speech? Of course, we would have that butterflies in our would have shaking hands and bubbling. So how calm yourself? Even that you have rehearsed several times before one of the natural experiences encounter. Calm your nerves. Take deep breath. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Then stretch your facial muscles. And a slight shake of your arms and body will. An old wives' trick when you coin in your shoe, they say it is a good luck charm, but maybe the metal absorbs all those body. You may also do that. There's nothing right. And with that, the curtain has been drawn. Another session has been concluded. Thank you for being with me. Until the next thing, happy learning. See you on our next virtual meeting. Goodbye.